Breaking news! There has been an accident at the intersection of GK Avenue and Cog Street. Looks like those involved were a compact car driven by a Miss Fruit and a tractor trailer driven by a Miss Hinkle. Current reports are saying that neither driver are taking responsibility. We'll go to our reporter on the scene.
Thanks, Bob. Now we're here with the driver of the tractor trailer, Mrs. Hinkle. What is your standpoint on the accident?
Well, I had a yellow flashing light, but I thought the other car was going to stop, so I was about to slow down, but then we just collided. It was crazy.
Thank you.
Thanks, Junalyn. Up next, we have an interview with the car driver, Miss Fruit. Back to you.
Okay, now we are back with the other driver of the compact car, Mrs. Fruit. What do you have to say about the incident?
Well, I was just on my way to work. I stopped at the red light, I started going, and the truck came out of nowhere. And he hit me.
Well, the results show that both the parties involved are lying. After doing the calculations, I found that the driver of the car, Miss Fruit, is at fault. She didn't stop at the light. If she had, she wouldn't have been traveling at the acceleration she was when the truck collided with her. However, the truck is also lying. She was traveling at twice the speed she claims she was, nor did she show any signs of slowing down like she claims. Technically, both drivers are at fault, but the car is the one that caused the accident.
Me and the boys down at the lab were able to finish our analysis of the accident and have come to a verdict as to who is really at fault. First, we're going to walk through the accident and how it came to be with this clever diagram that the lab made for us. So as you can see, Miss Fruit was driving her compact car northbound when Miss Hinkle apparently hit her on the side of her car, pushing her about 8 meters at 33 degrees. Miss Hinkle, after hitting Miss Fruit, was pushed about 7 degrees and about 10 meters after the collision. As you can see here, this is the red light that Miss Fruit apparently claims to have stopped at, and the yellow light here is where Miss Hinkle claimed that she started slowing down. Now, the police report gave us information that would help us add up who was really at fault. In the report, it said that it takes about 98 newtons to drag a 125 newton car tire on pavement. With this info, the technicians were able to find that the coefficient of kinetic friction for the car was 0.78. The report also said that the truck was 70% that of the car tires. So, using the 0.78 we found for the car, we were able to find the coefficient for the truck tires as well, which ended up being about 0.55. Since we have the coefficient of each vehicle, and since the police report also gave us the normal force for each vehicle, we are able to find the mass, shown here, obviously, since we know how much gravity is, 9.80 meters per second, and we know the car was 14,600 newtons, and the truck was 70,000 newtons. Using a simple equation, we were able to find that the mass of the car was about 1,490 newtons, and the mass of the truck was about 7,143 newtons. And with this information, we were able to find the frictional force required to push the car forward, which ended up being about 11,388 for Miss Fruit's compact car, and about 38,500 newtons for Miss Hinkle's tractor trailer. And with the frictional force, as well as the mass, we were able to find the acceleration after the crash for each vehicle. For the car, it was 7.6 meters per second squared, and for the truck, it was 5.4 meters per second squared. And using the acceleration, we also found the speed of each vehicle after the collision. 11.037 meters per second for the car, and 10.39 meters per second for the truck. Now that we found the speed after the collision, the technicians back at the lab realized that they needed to find the momentum for each of these vehicles, which they did, using the mass of Miss Fruit's car times the velocity she was traveling after the collision, we were able to find that her momentum was 16,434.7. And for the truck, it was 7,143 kilograms times 10.39 meters per second. And the total momentum for the truck was 74,215.77. Then we realized we needed to make a vector diagram using the momentum and the degrees that the car were pushed during the collision. Back on the first diagram, we were able to find the x and y for each of the car and the truck. For the x-axis for the car, it was 13,783.3 kilograms times meters per second. And for the y of the car, it was 8,951 kilograms times meter per second. For the truck, the x-axis was 73,662.6 kilograms times meters per second. For the y, it was 9,044.6 kilograms times meters per second. We found the x and y axis by using sine and cosine from the original number given. And with these x and y axes, we discovered that in order to find the total momentum for the car, we needed to add the y axes together since the car was moving in the y-axis direction. So the total momentum for the car was 17,995.6, and the total momentum for the truck, which was adding the two x-axes together, was 87,445.9. So now that we had the momentum and we had the mass of each vehicle, we were able to find speed right before they collided. So as you can see, the speed of the car was 12.08 meters per second, and the speed of the truck was 12.24 meters per second. And that's pretty confusing considering Ms. Hinkle, the truck driver, claimed that she was only traveling at about 6.7 meters per second, but in reality she was traveling over twice that speed. So obviously she was lying about going the speed she was and lying about trying to slow down. However, the real person at fault here is Miss Fruit. She claims she stopped at the red light. However, her acceleration tells otherwise. Her acceleration that we calculated was 6.08 meters per second squared. However, the acceleration that her car should have been able to go was only 3.2 meters per second squared, according to Ford Motor Company. Therefore, Miss Fruit never made a complete stop. She never stopped at the red light. In conclusion, both drivers should have been paying more attention and driving more carefully, but Miss Fruit is the one that was the main culprit in this collision. Thank you for your time. Good night.